Hi, welcome to Personal Best, igniting personal and business performance. I'm delighted to be joined by Wes Linden on a dark Sunday night. Thanks, Wes, for taking the time out. Wes is a network marketer extraordinaire and author of 79 networking marketing tips for fast track success. I've still got my book, Wes, signed by your own fair hand. There it is. There's actually a couple of points in this that I want to talk to you about anyway. And Wes, quite a lot within these interviews I've spoken to business leaders and leaders from other fields, and you and I have spoken quite a lot over the piece, and you were a great supporter when I wrote my book, Wes, which is how we first connected, and I always appreciate that. And one of the key things to you, Wes, is you live an alternative kind of lifestyle, and that's not in a negative way, but I think it's fair to say that you've never had a proper job, as we would all know and love it, and probably more power to you. And I think for a lot of us, Wes, and I know a little bit about network marketing, and I've got a fairly positive view of it, but I think some people would find it kind of remarkable to think that someone not only didn't have a job or never took a traditional job, had network marketing had been their one and only business, but they had made a huge success of it, and in fact lived a really good lifestyle out of it, which is what you've managed to do. And you're a sort of big flag bearer for the industry at large. But you became involved at a relatively young age, Wes, is that right?
Yeah, thank you for having me on, Barry, by the way. Hello to everyone. Yeah, I got involved in network marketing when I was 20. I just turned 20, which was back in 1997, which I know might surprise a few people because I appreciate I only look about 23 now. Yeah, that was 97. I was 20 years old. I was struggling at university. I failed my first year at uni,
Right.
and I'd been pushed into doing some student teaching. It was a career I thought I would probably follow.
Teaching,
I'd
yeah.
spent a term in a school as a classroom assistant, and got approached about network marketing with the company that I started with and I'm still with today. And it's been a great journey. My classroom assistant days lasted about another 6 months or so. University lasted about another 12, and I dropped out without any qualifications, but just with a little bit of a dream that maybe I could make network marketing work for me,
Yeah.
and it has proved to do so. Yeah.
Yep. So the company you became involved in, Utility Warehouse, Wes, who I think effectively started out as a telecoms company. Now have
Yeah.
the full gamut of telecoms, electric, and bills and other services. No doubt you could tell us about, but in essence, that's they attract consumers, and the consumer gets the benefit because they're obviously getting a discount on these services,
Yeah.
and you as a marketer, as a provider of these services, earn a commission. Is that right?
Yeah, that's about it. You're right. It started out as Telecom Plus. We provided just cheap telephone services. The market had just been deregulated back in the late 90s, and so people were aware that they could get a cheaper provider other than British Telecom, and we became involved in that market. It expanded over a couple of as the years evolved to gas and electric, broadband, mobile phone, and they stick it all on one bill, so it's much more convenient than getting 4 or 5 bills. They've got a price promise, and but it's doing pretty well. Over 500,000 customers now. FTSE 250 company.
Yeah.
So it's done really, really well. So it's been a great journey to be on. I'm not here to try and sell people on switching their services or anything else like that. But that's just an overview of what the company does. And
Yeah, and it's a successful listed business, and
yeah,
and a
you're a
credible
British
business.
success story. Yeah, it's on the London Stock Exchange now. The market value is over £1 billion. So it's been a real success
Yeah,
story.
yeah,
But it wasn't like that when I started.
sure.
We just we had an idea that maybe we could penetrate the market. Maybe it would go well. It was just ifs and buts and maybes,
Yeah,
and But as a lot of people, I'm sure you've interviewed and will interview, will tell you, sometimes you have to catch hold of that dream and that vision and believe that it could work, and coupled with the activity and working with the right people and actually a company that does have a vision, you've got half a chance. So it's worked out really nice.
It's interesting the way it's just listening to you to talk though. It's building a business the way you've built it is exactly that. It's building a business, and I think sometimes the industry perhaps has not done itself any favours because there's been that perception of either easy money or that money comes fast and easy, and people don't buy into it, or they do buy into it and they get disappointed. But it's like any business, it takes commitment. I know in your book there's one thing that really struck me. It's touch your business every day, and it's why would you not? Anybody that's running any other type of business, that's exactly what they have to do, and there's still that obligation on you. From a 20-year-old kid, you've had to build your business. It's not some kind of cop out or anything like that. And just to explain the model further, then for people who perhaps don't understand it, the power of this, Wes, is that you can sort of compound your own efforts a lot more. It's not just Wes out shaking the stick and attracting people into sort of buying into the service and then earning a commission. Although that that in principle is how it works, but by teaching and recruiting others to do the same and earn money, then you benefit from that as well, Wes.
Yeah, absolutely. So as you say, when distributors introduce customers to the business, they get paid an upfront bonus. They then get paid a commission every single month for the usage of those services. And you can introduce other people as distributors, other people that like the idea of earning extra money or, retiring a bit earlier than they were planning to, or supplementing their pension, or a new challenge, whatever it might be. And by introducing those people, by helping them duplicate what you've done, you get paid on those efforts as well. So yeah, it can be very much a compound effect. You kind of plant seeds and they grow from there. In terms of the model, people often look at the business model and say, well, how does that work? How can the company afford to pay you every month on those services? And that's fairly simple. Network marketing companies, not just Utility Warehouse, they don't advertise. They don't pay for high street stores. They don't pay for adverts, in between Coronation Street, whatever.
Sure.
They don't have those huge overheads. So their only route to market is through, in effect, a volunteer army. People that aren't on a salary, don't have huge expenses, accounts and company cars and stuff. Just ordinary people who 98% of them probably have a full-time job or business, but they're doing something on the side to supplement that. We've got such a huge mix, in the whole industry in network marketing, from teachers, solicitors, police officers, judges, through to students, bin men, shop workers, waiters, whatever, the whole mix. People retired, people who've just left school. It's a huge mix, and the companies, the network marketing companies, do not have huge overheads to take their product or service to market. So in the case of Utility Warehouse, every single month a customer is paying a bill, so they can share a little bit of that profit with the distributor, with the network of distributors that were responsible for that customer. They can share a little bit of that because they didn't have any other overhead to gain the customer.
Yeah, I think it's one of the powers of Utility Warehouse, and I know that you're a big fan of the industry at large, Wes, but I think it's one of the powers that probably your business has, is that you don't have to go and sell the service. Nobody has to buy anything, in terms of a product every month. The fact of the matter is, I'm going to use my gas or my electrics or my telephone with or without your input. You don't have to advise me to use it or convince me I should use it. I'm going to get up in the morning and I'm going to use the services. So I guess that's one of the strong powers that Utility Warehouse has, is that once somebody buys into the services, they should stay with those services. And I guess over the years you've built exactly that, a bank of customers. But I mean, going back, Wes, and I know that your example doesn't necessarily mean that it'll apply to everyone, but you, within a few years, you were effectively, financially free. And you and I have touched on this a little bit in a previous conversation, that, I deal with guys a lot who are running successful businesses, and it's not always an easy thing. Outwardly they might drive the right car and stay in the right area, but they're spinning plates, and every month they've got to go out there and make it happen. Whereas at a relatively young age, whereas you were, financially free as would understand it, and as much as you had more residual income than you had expenses, and that happened, within a few years for you.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, you touched on a few moments ago that the network marketing industry didn't do itself any favours, because there can be a perception that this is a get-rich-quick thing, and, put in 10 minutes effort now and you never have to work again. It's not that at all. It's a business. You have to build it up.
Sure.
It is a part-time business, so you really got to find time and effort and commitment to take yourself away from other activities, golf, your religious practices, reading, Facebook, watching telly, whatever it might be, and put that little bit of extra time in. But I kind of realised that fairly quickly. So, got in at the age of 20. Struggled for a couple of years because I didn't really have any other income. I had fairly supportive parents, but not really any other income. But by the age of 24, I was, in theory, semi-retired, because I was getting more money in than I needed to live, and it was paying for my car and my flat and my lifestyle, which was great. But it still wasn't a fortune. I certainly wasn't rich. It was about the equivalent of what I would have been earning had I become a teacher.
Yeah.
At that age. But that was still, great, because it didn't mean I didn't have to go and do 45 hours.
And that's
a week.
it, Wes. You didn't have to trade your time for money. That's the thing, and probably that's how you've lived your life.
But how it compounded from there was, by the age of 27, so from 7 years from starting, I realised I'd hit a point where my income, the residual income, was greater than the average salary of a head teacher. Now, I'd always had a vision that I wouldn't just be a teacher, I'd probably be a head teacher. So that was really significant, because obviously head teachers, we all know, are pretty, in many cases, probably stressed and overworked.
Sure. Yeah.
Good salary, but tough job. They might get 7 or 8 weeks summer holiday, but they probably having to work quite a lot of that time. So that was a real, eye-opener, a real privilege. And the business has obviously grown, in the 7 or 8 years since then, as has the income. But as we've discussed on occasions before, and I touched upon in my book, you can have all the money in the world, but you can be really, really miserable. And I'd rather have nice experiences, go on great holidays, have lovely friends, look after friends and family that aren't in such a fortunate position, and rather have all of that than just be able to say, look at my watch and look at my car and look at my house and look at my bank account, because none of that really counts when, to me that
no, ever.
So the business has given me a fantastic lifestyle, the opportunity to, I travel. I probably go on holiday once a month.
I know you're telling lies. I can never get hold of you. It's way more than once a month. Maybe once a month in your head.
Yeah, it averages out 12 or 13 holidays a year, and that might only be 4 or 5 days sometimes.
Sure.
But I'm probably flippant about that now. But when I think about, the fact that most people get 28 days, 26 days holiday a year, which they probably go on holiday 7 to 14 of those days. So I have to appreciate, it's a real privilege that the business has given me in a short period of time, compared to what it would have been if I'd worked as a teacher and done 40 years, on that kind of treadmill as such.
Yes.
So the business does give great choices. It's not just about how many pounds it puts in your bank. It's the choices, the opportunities it opens up for you, the lifestyle, and not having the stress that most people have in a 9 to 5, 40, 50 year kind of plan.
Yeah. And Wes, it is that whole thing. I think people get on that treadmill, and I include myself in this, because I was that trooper at one point in my life, where you trade your time for money, and you work hard, and you want to be a master of the universe and such like, and whether you outgrow it or whether you just begin to understand that there are other things that are more fundamentally important, and all any of us need is enough, and I think anybody even starting a business should probably just begin with the end in mind and ask them why they're doing this, and if it's for freedom of choice and freedom of time, and those those powerful things that your type of business maybe lends itself more than others. I mean, if somebody wants to connect with you, Wes, and I did jump on your website earlier on, can you just remind me of the site address, your personal address, if somebody wanted just to, and I know you're really open with the information that you give and supply and such like, what's the best website?
It's very simple. It's just my name, www.weslinden.com, so that's WESLINDEN.com. And I share, every couple of days, articles, blogs, whatever, mainly aimed at helping people who are in the network marketing profession, whether they be Warehouse or any other company around the world. But also, I know I've got people that read it, who tell me they read it, who are just people who are maybe in a place where they just like the idea of thinking about a better lifestyle for the future, and it just helps provoke in them some ideas that could help them. They might not be ready to do network marketing, they might not be ready to change direction or whatever, but so hopefully people will find some useful stuff, and then you can.
But as the power of it as well, Wes, the other risk that people have is if they start their own business, invariably they're going to start it in an industry that they understand and know and they've worked in. And if that's the case, they can't work for their own employer. They're going to have to burn their boats upon the shore and start their business and do or die on the basis of it. But I mean, most of the people that you're involved with in the business are people you've already alluded to are working in full-time jobs.
Yep.
And I guess one of the other powerful things is if you start a business, it's very difficult to get mentorship or somebody who's doing exactly what you're doing and is prepared to share exactly the tactics and the strategies. Where in your business, that's kind of the point, is that you will openly share that.
Yeah, it's such a different world to the corporate world, and as I say, this is not an attack on the corporate world. I mean, that's really not it at all. I respect people for the jobs they do, the businesses they build at 100%. But this is a business where you are paid, you are rewarded for making people as good as you, if not better. And true freedom in our type of business comes from finding some people that are better than you, training them up to be better than you, so they don't really need you anymore.
Yeah.
You still get paid on their efforts and the growth of their team. Now, put that into corporate world, my perception is that a manager trains up his supervisor or her supervisor to be as good as they need to be to do the job, but he doesn't want to train them to be much better than that, because then he might have competition for his.
That's exactly, Wes, and it's a really, it's only the strongest of executives who ever get to that point where they want to hire people smarter than them and develop people stronger than them. Whereas, the whole point is you bring someone into your business, if you could not only replicate yourself but do better than that. If you're a dozen people in your business who have done better than you've done on it, then it's even more power to you and even more benefit. So it is a kind of virtuous circle. So people can jump on the website. It's a funny thing. When I read this, I don't keep waving this in front of the camera, but that's the Wes's book, which you can get on Amazon or Kindle. And I first picked that up, Wes, and you'd sent it. I got mine free, folks, I have to admit. Never had to pay for it, unless an invoice coming, Wes, I didn't have to pay for it. But I picked it up probably as a network marketing book and thought it would be a good read. And you know what, Wes, without blowing smoke, it's a really good business book. If you never started a network marketing business and you just started a business and marketing related to it, which is pretty much every business, that has real depth, that has real relevance to any business. And it's a nice piece. I think it might be followed by one or two more tomes. You're outstripping me on the book writing as well. See, we're getting competitive now. So and also is, I know that you, again, much to your credit, you don't, although you're a big leader within the utility warehouse business, that you're also a flag waver for the entire industry. And you spoke recently, didn't you, at the Mastermind event over in the States, the first Brit to do that?
Yes, yeah, indeed. Yeah, that was in Orlando back end of 2013. It's called the Network Marketing Mastermind event. It's the biggest event of its kind in the world, and they've got some seriously, big speakers, big names from our industry, who have, far outstripped me in terms of expertise, experience, income, everything. So it was a real honour to share the stage with some of them. And yeah, I think somewhere where network marketing doesn't always do itself favours is that, there's lots of really good companies out there. And if someone's watching this and they think maybe it's time for us, whether they're a couple or an individual, to do something a bit different in our spare time to change our direction, perhaps. I'm not. If Utility Warehouse isn't for them, that's fine. There's plenty of other good companies. There's some great health companies. There's some great catalogue businesses. There's lots of other businesses around in the industry that offer the same opportunities in terms of passive income, build a team, leverage off their efforts, create financial freedom. There's plenty of other opportunities. And I don't see other network marketing businesses or people as my competition. They're my colleagues.
Yeah.
So we kind of, the more we work together to help each other, to help the industry grow, I want to be in a situation where in 3 or 5 or 10 or 15 years' time, people go, oh, you're in network marketing. What a great profession that is.
Yeah.
Rather than, oh, that's a bit dodgy. One of my mates did one of that once and it didn't work. And he ended up with a garage full of water filters or something. It's like, I don't want to hear that anymore,
Yeah.
Universities are starting to teach it. I've been invited to speak at universities about it at home and in Europe as well. And I'm sure it won't be long before it's just a case of people understanding it better, understanding it's a very credible way for big businesses to get their product or service straight into the living room of someone without having to do it through television, without doing it through radio or door knockers. The best form of advertising is word of mouth advertising. That's, I think we all appreciate that. That's, you recommend people a good book or film or restaurant or whatever it might be, and they tend to take your recommendation. That's all network marketing is. It's people telling people who they trust, who they know, who they like, listen, this is a good deal, this is a good product, this is whatever, and I can help you get that. Why not support people who you know in business rather than give your business straight to the great big businesses, the big 6 energy suppliers or the huge great health companies or whatever. Why not support your friends and family? And that's all the business is about. And the more people understand that over time, the more likely it is that it becomes just another career option.
Yeah, and I think it's getting there, Wes. You touched in your book about trust, and sometimes that's I know you relate to it in terms of building trust with people you speak to and distributors and such like. But I think what you're talking about there is why people go to the movies. Is because my friend wouldn't recommend me a Duff movie or something he didn't like. And it's no skin off his nose. He's just telling me because he thinks I might enjoy it. And I think if you like and use the product yourself and you simply recommend it to people, there's no hard sale, there's no obligation. You're just talking, and that's as human beings. I know we live in a digital age and all the rest of it, but hopefully we haven't lost the ability to talk and communicate. And in essence, that's all people are doing. They're just talking about the product that they're using, and recommending it to their friends, and their friends can take it or leave it as they see fit.
Yeah, look, I think a lot of us now are used to, if we want to go to a hotel or a holiday destination or a restaurant, you go on TripAdvisor.
Sure.
You take the recommendations of other people rather than just believe what the hotel or restaurant says about themselves. And in effect, that's what network marketing is. It's the people that you know, like, and trust who tell you, recommend something to you. My view is you can take it or leave it. I'm not into the pushy side of it. You can take it or leave it. Maybe it's for you now, maybe it's for you later, maybe it's never for you, but that's fine. But, network marketing is just about, those connections happening. And that's why companies pay us distributors to do that.
Yeah.
As I say, as you touched on, people, this is not saying to people, get rid of your job, get rid of your business. No, you've got to pay your bills, you've got to pay your mortgage. But this is something that runs alongside it so that if something unforeseen happens, if you get made redundant, if technology overtakes your business, if your company goes out of business, and 5 years ago, my company to go out of business. But then look what happened to Blockbusters and Comet and RBS and
happens.
Woolworths.
Yeah.
Yeah, it happens to big businesses like that. It can happen to anyone. Or maybe illness or a change in family circumstances, or just the idea of retiring at 50 or 55 or 60 rather than 65, 70 or 75 or 80 or whatever future governments are going to have in store for us.
Yeah.
That's what network marketing does for people. And at the end of the day, are you more likely to take the word of an advert that's on, whilst you're watching your favourite soap, or some guy, girl that turns up on your doorstep that you've never met before, or a friend that you like and trust?
Yeah.
That's all network marketing.
And interestingly, Wes, and I kind of missed that just as we were talking, but that's the thing about it. People can drive this as far as they want. You live a really great lifestyle based on the back of the efforts and the stuff that you put in. But equally, if someone just wanted an extra couple £100 a month for a relatively small input in terms of their time and effort, they can get that return every single month. And for a lot of people, that makes a hell of a difference. That's the difference between having enough money at the end of the month or having too much month at the end of the money. Yeah.
Yeah, completely. And that's absolutely what our what our business is driven on. Most of my team, most of our organisation in Utility Warehouse and the network marketing industry as a whole is people who just want an extra £200 or £300 or £400 a month to, as you say, just help cover the bills, the overdrafts, have an extra couple of treats, cinema trips, horse riding lessons for the kids, a nicer holiday, 10 days instead of 7, whatever it might be.
Yeah.
Maybe the chance for the husband or wife to go part-time and spend more time with the kids or whatever. And that's where it starts for nearly every person. Now, some people take it beyond that, like I have. Others, progress it a little bit more to £500, £750, £1,000, £1,500, whatever it might be.
Yeah.
And then, of course, there will always be those that keep pushing it like I did. But it's interesting the difference, actually. When I first started in this business, we used to talk about people wanting an extra £200 or £300 or £400 or £500 a month for the luxuries. Now we're talking about people wanting an extra £200, £300, £400, £500 a month, not for luxuries, but to make ends meet.
Yeah.
To cover the shortfall because of less credit available, less equity in properties, companies maybe being a bit more stringent with overtime and that kind of thing. The economy, as we know, petrol prices have gone up, food prices have gone up, cost of living has gone up, but yet people's incomes necessarily haven't risen with it. So now that network marketing income of £200, £300, £400, £500 a month is just helping people get by and maybe have a little extra. Whereas 10, 12, 15 years ago, it was about the luxuries, the nicer car and, the extension or moving into a nicer area. So I've certainly seen a change actually over the years.
Even that's interesting, whereas a few £100 or £1,000 a month or whatever it might coming in residual, it just makes you that little bit more bomb-proof from redundancy or loss or stuff that can change. It's interesting. So if anyone wants to get a hold of you directly, Wes, they can jump on your website, weslinden.com, and we'll maybe put a little banner down the bottom there so people can get the spelling right and such like. And Wes, if somebody was starting or was thinking about starting whether within your type of business or a similar type business, what's your advice to them, your sort of snapshot, because you've been really generous for your time, Wes, I don't want to hold you up. What would you say to them?
Well, in terms of Utility Warehouse, and again, I'm not here just solely to promote that, we do have a little video. It's about 3 or 4 minutes long. I'll have to put up with me again because I host it, but it's got some testimonials from others. And that web address is www.motherofallbusinesses.com, motherofallbusinesses.com. But, by all means, take a look at that and then think, is this for me or not? But, there's plenty of other network marketing businesses. I'm sure you could Google them. You could certainly ask your friends on Facebook. You'll probably find some people that you don't even know are involved in network marketing businesses. And by all means, as I say, I'm happy. I'd like to interact with people. So if you do connect with me on weslinden.com, you can get me on Facebook or Twitter. And if you want some advice on it's introduction into someone in your area that might be in a health type of business or a books business or whatever it might be, maybe I can help with that. So
brilliant.
yeah, whatever people want to do is fine.
Wes, as always, you've been hugely generous with your time. Listen, thanks ever so much, and no doubt I'll catch you on the upside.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
All right, thanks again, Wes. Take care. Cheers.